lighter, and I want to thank all of you guys for coming to our Terminator panel. Just want to grab a seat. I think we might adjust the seating in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd first like to introduce Lance Henriksen. Then we have someone named Linda Hamilton. Biehn. I don't think Edward is making the panel, so it might just be us. I was going to say, if the three of you take that couch, I'm going to switch to that. That was easy. Wait, Robert, do you want to sit on the couch? Come on. Sit on the couch.
Stand. Entire time.
I'm going to switch to, actually, I'll stay. I'll be next to you. I was going to switch to the better chair, but, you know. How are you guys doing?
I know that Michael wanted to sit next to Linda.
Oh, you do?
I'm doing fantastic. Are you kidding me? I'm moderating a Terminator panel at Fan Expo. Things are fucking fantastic. For real.
Typhoid Eddie says his regards.
I definitely have to start. I was waiting for Robert. Are you guys good? So I have a ton of questions for you guys, but we're also going to open it up to the audience. In a few minutes, you guys have. I'm going to start with a silly question, but. You have obviously signed a lot of autographs before. What is the coolest or the weirdest Terminator-related thing you've signed?
A breast. Not here, somewhere else. It's true.
I can't beat that one.
Cool question.
I'm trying to come up with something that tops breast.
Okay, we can move on.
Let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. You know, at this point, listen, everyone in this room is a fan of the Terminator movies, and we know Wikipedia.
But they won't be after this.
I'm curious, what do you think might surprise people to learn about making the Terminator movies?
Jim Cameron.
Anything specifically?
I don't remember.
What might surprise people?
I want to be honest.
Oh, we shot it on film.
That's true, though. I mean, there was no digital in '84 or in '91. It was all on film.
I've turned older.
Actually, Jim Cameron had no idea what he was doing, and all of us had to kind of like band together to help Jim Cameron. Just kind of joking there.
Well, what? A lot of support. You know, that's true. Michael's right. Actually, Michael's very right.
I felt obligated to take care of Jim, that he didn't screw up.
I directed my own scenes.
That's the headline that's online. What the hell did director her own scenes in the Terminator? But being completely serious, the original Terminator is now 40. Terminator 2 is 33, I think around 33 or 34, and they still resonate with so many people. For each of you, what is it about these films that has stood the test of time that causes people here to want to talk about it and, you know, and reminisce?
They could tell us better than we could tell them.
What do you think it is?
Me? Jim was younger. He was a young sprout. You know. We needed each other, that's what happened.
I think the themes of sort of every man, every woman sort of being caught up in an extraordinary set of circumstances and then having to rise to the occasion and live an unexpected life is something that's kind of thrilling today as much as it was back then. Right? Like, just the effects and all of that were incredible, but it has to be more than that, because the effects after a while will be blown out of the water by today's effects. But really, just the theme of a normal woman, because it's all about me, rising to the occasion is something that just thematically appeals to people.
A lot of people won't realize, please. A lot of people don't realize when the Terminator was being made back in '83, I guess, or beginning of '84, I'm not 100% sure. Like the studio didn't fully believe in the film. It was, you know, what is this movie? When did like the three of you realize, oh wait, we might be making something special here?
I can speak first. I only realized that we were doing something good when I saw the movie. It wasn't during the filming of the movie. If you've done enough work, you understand that a lot of stuff can feel really good and feel really right, but then you see it when it's all assembled and it sucks. Just like whatever you felt or thought you were feeling didn't necessarily work, or they didn't capture it. And I mean, it doesn't stop us from working hard to bring every single moment to life, but really the only time that I really was like, oh my God, was when I saw it.
Yeah. People have a tendency to believe and think that when the movie came out, it was this gigantic hit, and I think Jim and Gail made it for $6 million and it made 40 here in America. It was not in the top 25 movies, or no, it came in 23rd in box office in 1984. And Ghostbusters, and Karate Kid, and there were a lot of movies that were big hits. The Terminator wasn't one of them. And the idea that and we all believed in it. We had some skin in the game, but people, it's the same thing that happened with me with Tombstone. People don't get it immediately. And over the years, things just are, you know, I don't want to quote, they're kind of unstoppable. You just, you know, that's just what happens. But it was not, when that movie came out, nobody was, Arnold went on to do Predator, but nobody was like, hey Michael, we want you to, you know, you're the star of this big hit movie, we want you to be in this movie, we want you to be, it just didn't happen, you know. I went on to work with Jim and Aliens, but it might surprise you, but it was not a huge hit.
Slow burn. It was a slow burn.
Slow burn, that's right. But then when T2 came out, it was Katie Barton. Probably because of this one.
This is a question at all four of you. When you think back on the first Terminator and Terminator 2, what shot or sequence for each of you was the one that really was a pain in the ass, or one that you'll always remember, whether it be because it's a oneer, the camera moves, the dialogue, whatever it was?
Schwarzenegger getting naked. What is this, a porno play?
It's a fantastic answer.
But then another guy came down and got naked. I thought, you know, they're not going to make us get naked because we're already here.
I think I'll take over from there. You know what? They were all damn hard. It wasn't like there was just like, oh, I think it actually is the first time, and I recognized it as such, that I learned to live in the moment. Because like we were in the steel factory doing all the end sequence, the steel factory, which was really like a fruit juice factory. fruit juice, sticky, horrible fruit juice running along the floors. And it was really cold, even though we made it look like it was super, super hot. It was freezing. Remember how cold it was? It was just unseasonable. And I mean, just ridiculously cold. And so everyone wanted to get out of the steel mill. Oh, now I'm mixing up my stories. The steel mill, the second one, was not a fruit factory, forget it. It was a steel mill and it was freezing. And I just remember that everybody wanted to get out. And I just thought, I get the mental hospital to look forward to. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I did not dream of being elsewhere any day at all. It was like I just lived in the moment because every day was equally hard for me and my character. So.
Michael, Robert.
I don't know, I was just having fun listening to you guys.
Well, when you think back on the shoot, for you, for Terminator 2, what scene or sequence ended up being like the toughest one to shoot and why?
Well, there was some interesting challenges to do the CGI. Walking out of the fire sequence was kind of difficult. You were presented with a certain amount of problems as an actor, like you had the consistency of the walk had to match what they were trying to do on the computer, and they couldn't figure out exactly how that was going to work. So it was all this, it was kind of hypothetical, but it was actually real, and everybody was trying to articulate what the fuck we were doing. And I'm listening to everybody, and I'm confused, and it was pretty nutty day that day. Dennis Muren, James Cameron, Mark Dupay, Steve Spaz Williams, they were all down in that what is that canal? The LA Canal. It was the LA Canal in the river. Yeah, so where the tow truck exploded. That was a very challenging day, very complex day. And that was the day that I kind of, that James actually said to me, hey man, you gotta relax because we're making movie history here. And we don't know what's going to be great. Just do it. Be patient. Suck it up, buttercup. Basically, because you kind of get like, oh fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this. No one's done it. It's that kind of thing.
So, sometimes, usually making films are a lot of waiting around. And especially when you're dealing with special effects makeup or special effects. One of the shots that I remember that both Linda and I were in, and Arnold was in, was the shot where Arnold jumps on the front of a car and he smashes his hand through the window and he grabs Linda in the alleyway. And that shot took like all morning to set. I mean, it was not really his fist. There was a whole thing going on. He was on fire. So the car wasn't moving, but Jim had the background like on wheels. So the background was moving, making it look like the car was going backwards, even though. And it took us so long to set up that shot. Everything had to go right as far as them blowing the window. Right when his fist went through, it wasn't really his fist, it was something else. And then his fist comes in and grabs Linda. And I think a lot of times for most actors, you know, we just want to do our thing. We just want to get to the acting part, and there's a lot of, especially when you're working on a film like Terminator, like Aliens, like The Abyss, or T2, there's a lot of waiting. And that sequence that took us so long to set up, at least half a day it felt like to me. The background moving, it's like, when you watch the movie and you watch his fish go through, it's like, you can't even see, it's maybe less than 2 seconds. And so things can be, it's not boring because it's interesting to watch, but things can move a lot slower than you would expect them to.
I've been lucky enough to be on some TV and movie sets, and the one thing that I've always taken away from it is I get bored. Like you think it would be all glamorous, but watching the same scene being shot 20 different ways, you know what I mean?
I'm sure all of us have all had family members and friends. I want to come down to visit the set. We want to visit the set. Yeah. Come down, they watch for an hour, and they're like, I think we're going to take off. See this 6 times, we don't want to see it 6 more times. That happens quite often to me.
One of the things this film obviously deals with is AI, and everyone's talking about AI right now. Do you think the people that are programming AI in the real world have watched the Terminator movies and what do we need to do to make sure they do?
Let me say something about AI, and that is that Elon Musk retweeted something that I saw about 6 months ago, I think. And it was me talking to Sarah Connor in the car, and I'm telling her this is going to happen, and Terminator, and future, and Sarah Connor says to Kyle Reese, that can't happen. And Kyle Reese says, no, not for about 40 years. That was in 1984, it's now 2004, it's 40 years later, and look at AI.
I took a tour of SpaceX, and I was being walked through there, and I went by their computer room, you know, the server room, whatever you call it. It was behind blue glass, and it was, you know, like from here to the end of that, back there. But I noticed down front there was something that I recognized, and it was a sign from T2, and it was Cyberdyne Systems. I said to somebody, I said, so, and they went, oh yeah, he's a fan. So I mean, Elon is definitely an individual that has watched Terminator and all the Terminators, you know, after. But I think he gets it, and I think Jim obviously was on to something. I know when T2 came out, a lot of actors were nervous about, you know, acting has changed now because there's motion capture. It was created on T2. So I remember that, but I was personally I felt slightly insulted by that. Like, actors need to be aware, you know, it's like, well, what the fuck, I am an actor. You know, I had a hand in motion capture, sure, but, you know, what does that mean?
I mean, the amount of technology that was invented on T2 that paved the way for so many things. That movie was also responsible for ILM thinking that they could do, you know, CGI dinosaurs for Jurassic Park. Like it.
Yeah, that's Steve Spaz-Williams. Well, then, you know, earlier when you were talking about why are the movies around, I think it's because they blend all that. They were the first. They had practical stunts, physical stunts, Stan Winston, ILM, Industrial Light Magic, CGI effects, all that stuff. It's all in those movies as opposed to just being total fucking CGI. And it makes it much more interesting, CGI. I mean, that's a reality. I think that's why those movies resonate and why they're still relevant today is because they have all those aspects of filmmaking. involved with them, not just leaning on one particular.
After Terminator.
Which one? Oh, Terminator?
Terminator 1 had none of that shit.
No, it didn't. No, but it did have practical stunts.
Practical
It had
effects.
Stan Winston. What? Yeah, physical stunts.
Yeah.
The only thing you didn't have was CGI.
Well, you're correct.
But that's what I'm saying. It's still.
I know what you're
I don't
saying.
know. What are you trying to? What dance me into a foxhole? Come out and say what you want to say, man.
I did.
What did you say?
I didn't. You didn't have CGI.
Do you know how many times I had to do this on
I love you, buddy.
I was going to say that this weekend, the new Alien movie came out, and two of our panelists did a history with Alien. And one of the reasons the new Alien movie is so good is because it uses a lot of miniatures, practical, and little CGI, which is what, T2, anyway, we're off on things. Linda, I have a question for you. I'm going to make sure I read this so I say it right. Many consider Sarah Connor as one of the greatest and most influential cinematic female action heroes of all time. Stood the test of time. People love this character. What does it mean to you to have portrayed this role and have influenced countless of people around the planet?
Well, certainly not my intention. It feels good. I have been handed that title a few times. It's just absolutely not at all, but you never know, because the first one was a slow burn too, and I don't think any of us looked at that and said, this is going to be like, whew. So you don't know where a movie role is going to lead you 7 years later. But I'll take the mantle that people have put on me and, be very grateful for it. I do think that one of the real hallmarks of that character is Jim wanted me to cut my hair when I'm getting out of the mental hospital, when I'm going to do battle. And it wasn't even a vanity particularly, like soldiers don't have hair that you can grab on, it's a weakness. So that's why they do that in those movies, so all women cut their hair. And I just thought, why not throw it back in a ponytail and kind of I think it was the fact that she remained feminine and was able to kick ass. Do you know what I mean? One of the first women characters that doesn't have to look like a guy to be strong. And so I think it was that lucky sort of bit of me I don't even think it was a vanity. I just said, I don't think that we really need this. Let's just throw it in a ponytail and move on. And I think it was that gave her the sort of the global appeal. So, it's an accident of timing too. The world is ready to see a strong woman. So, I don't really take a lot of credit for it. I think it was, an accident of timing. I do my work, I do my job, but the world was ready. It wasn't me.
I think you had something to do with it.
It was 2% me.
I'm going to raise that percentage, but anyway, I know that the audience has questions, and so I think there's a microphone. I'm not sure where it is. It's there? I think it's there, or maybe, yeah, it's there. I should have set that up sooner. Yes. We need to turn the mic on. You want to try now? I swear someone's standing there.
Let's turn the house lights up. Let's see how thin it is out there. Come on. We can handle it.
Is it working or no? Well, I'll repeat your question. What's your question?
My My question's for my question's for Michael.
Michael. I'm going to get their attention. Michael. Hey guys, we have some people in the audience who are asking you questions.
Hey, sorry, we were
Michael.
So my question's for Michael. I love Tombstone. It's my favorite Western. It's a beautifully done film, and you're fantastic in it. Especially the scenes with Lance Henriksen. I just wanted you to talk a little bit about what it was like to work on that film and to make it.
Are you asking me what it was like to work on Tombstone?
Yes.
Tombstone was an incredibly good script. That's why you have a cast that is just phenomenal. Everybody in that movie is very, very good in it. It was a great script. It was a problem production because the person who wrote the script was named Kevin Jarre, and Kevin was a great writer. He wrote a movie called Glory. It was a great director, and he's just a great, and this was his directorial debut. I don't think that Kevin quite understood how collaborative movie making was, and he saw it really one way, and he had Kurt, and he had Sam, and we had an Academy Award winning DP, and he wanted to do it a certain way, but he got fired 4 weeks into shooting, and so they had to tear that script apart and kind of put it back together. So it really didn't have anything to do. I mean, I lost some sequences in the movie, but I didn't really care. It was a little bit of a mess, but like I said before about the Terminator, when Tombstone came out, nobody gave a fuck about it. Nobody didn't get good reviews. The New York Times hated it. LA Times hated it. Val didn't get nominated. It didn't make any money. Maybe it made money overseas, but it was not a big hit at all. I've looked this up recently too. In that year, box office wise, it came in like 60th or something like that. Over a period of like 30 years now, a little over 30 years, that movie, like a fine wine, has gotten better and better and better. And now, and I've heard Kurt talk about how proud he is of it. You don't, at least I don't know about any movie that I've done before. The Terminator being one of them. Aliens kind of came out, we knew that Aliens was a really good and fun movie. But a lot of times, things that are considered classics now, nobody thought that about the Terminator. Nobody thought Arnold was going to be a movie star. Nobody thought Arnold was going to be a movie star. Maybe Arnold did. Arnold probably did it. Maybe Jim thought he was when I was doing the Terminator. By the time you were doing T2, it was a different story. But so it's hard to predict any kind of thing. And with Tombstone, again, I'm like just a part of something that it turned into something really special. It's a really, people love the movie, and John Ringo was a lot of fun to play. That's really what I have to say about Tombstone. Thanks for asking about it.
Thank you.
And our next question. I think it's, is there more? Oh, yeah, sorry. Over here. We'll bounce back and forth.
I know this is a panel for Terminator, but what was one of the other roles in any other films that you did that you love doing?
Is that for everyone?
Yes, for everybody.
Did you hear the question? Pretty well. Did you hear the question? Would you like me to repeat it?
Aliens.
I said Aliens. I mean, it was a pretty polished movie. It really was. I like some of your movies better than mine. You know. So that's my answer.
Is there another? Did you guys hear the question?
We did. I did.
Yes.
Hello. I had a really good time at Dante's Peak. That was some dirty work. I tell you, just the soot and the lava and the ash, you know. We destroyed a town. I don't know how many years it's been, but I know that town is still not clean. Wallace, Idaho, man. But yeah, Dante's Peak was fun. Loved the Terminator movies. You know, as lazy as this sounds, it's like every job I do is my favorite. Like that's how I work. Just every role that I play is my favorite. Just they all get equal attention, and so all of them.
Awesome, thank you.
Kind of a Terminator question, maybe more aliens, but I was wondering, what was it like working with Bill Paxton?
He became a good friend. I mean, he was when we did Near Dark, and every time I worked around Bill, I was really happy. You know, I mean, it was always about the work, never about anything else. You know, it was really good. It felt great, and he was talented. You know, I really miss him. I really miss that he's not on this earth.
I miss him too. I did 5 movies with Bill.
Oh, wow.
We did a movie, the first movie we did was Lords of Discipline, which was directed by Frank Rodham. It was about the first black cadet at the Citadel, which is a military school in the South, based on a Pat Conroy novel. And that's where I met Bill, and Bill was very new, very fresh, and his billing in the movie, starring so-and-so and so-and-so. When I got to him, it was Wild Bill Paxton. That's how he was billed in the movie. And Bill was like, when he came into a room, you knew he was in the room. He was loud and...
Never stopped talking. Ever.
He was, to me, he was fun, he was energetic, he knew films very well, he knew Jim, because he was working at Roger Corman's company with Jim. He knew films, he was fun, to me, he was like the character in Aliens, without the coward part. Just big and funny, worked hard, played hard. We had great times. Boy, I can tell you, we had some wildness that went on over in England, and then, so I did Lords of Discipline with the Terminator. Then we did Aliens together, and then we did this movie, Navy SEALs, which was a mess, and it was Tombstone. And we didn't really pay attention to each other when we were doing Tombstone. But yeah, he was, for me, he was a lot of fun, and always liked his energy. Just bigger than life, and very talented as a filmmaker. He was acting in One False Move. I forget the name of the movie he directed. Maybe one of you might know it. Frailty. Frailty. Really, yeah. Thank you. Very good movie. Good filmmaker, and I miss him too.
Thank you for the question.
A big part of Terminator 2 is Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator learning the value of humanity. Whereas the T-1000 starts the movie, everything's efficient, even polite to people. Yet there's by the end, he's not pushing the helicopter pilot out, he's intimidating the helicopter pilot out. am I reading into it, or was that purposeful that the T-1000 was slowly learning to enjoy hurting people?
I have no idea. Much deeper than I ever got. Was I supposed to think of that? I certainly did not.
Hi everybody, it's such an honor to see you guys. I flew out from Florida just as soon as they announced you guys. But for Linda, thank you so much for joining Cast of Stranger Things. I'm looking forward to it. As for my question, earlier you were mentioning the alley scene behind Tech Noir. I can watch that scene a million times and never get tired of it. How much fun was it for the first Terminator doing the Tech Noir scene?
Way fun. I mean, you know, as many times I fall off that chair onto my butt, falling off that chair in fear. You know, what I remember from that is that the laser light that was pointed at my head was going to sever my eyeballs if I actually looked into the light. I mean, it was in the day of like, you know, it wasn't just laser light, it was the laser light that slices through your eyeball if you actually look at it. So, I mean, half that scene is me trying not to look into the red light. When Arnold, you know, lasers my forehead, I'm like, don't look. You know, different days. But, yeah, just as much fun as the rest of it.
And for you, Reese? Thank you so much.
It was every young boy's dream to halfway through that sequence kind of come out of nowhere with that shotgun and just shoot and rack and shoot and rack and blow him out the window. I mean, it just doesn't get any more macho, it doesn't get any more cool, it doesn't get any, you know, it doesn't get any better than that. It just is like that probably is, when I watch all the movies that I've done, I have certain things in different movies that I've done that are acting choices that I made, and that wasn't any choice, it was just written, but it just doesn't get any more fun than that. Whether I'm playing in my backyard at 12 with my little brother, you know, it was a wonderful, wonderful moment for me, that shot of me shooting the shotgun and re-racking and blowing him out the window. It was so much fun.
We're running out of time, so what I'd like to do, if possible, because I see how many people are waiting to ask a question, is do sort of like a lightning round where people can ask questions and give quick answers. So we try to get through some people. Let's start over here.
I'm the first lightning round? Okay.
I apologize.
I'm a huge fan of the franchise, all the movies, even TV shows, video games, stuff like that. I'm not trying to ask you a loaded question, but have you all watched any of the films or material after T2, and what do you feel about them?
I didn't watch them, and so I don't really have an answer to that one myself.
I think I watched the next two, and then I gave up. Just, you know, they just did not...
It's hard to follow Jim Cameron.
Yeah, and they just did not resonate or have the emotional impact or whatever. You just didn't care about the characters like you do in a Jim Cameron film.
So, if you don't mind, a follow-up question about Dark Fate. How did you feel about reprising Sarah Connor after so long? Because I got chills, personally.
It was scary. I mean, I kind of liked the idea that I was so much older. So I thought that was something really fun to explore. that here is, you know, this iconic character all these years later. And so I really did want to explore that. I didn't know what else I had to say as the character, but I liked the concept, and I just thought, it might be fun to go back and what if, you know, I wanted to create some difference, like this shocking difference between Sarah in the first one, Sarah in the second one. And so for this one, I was like, what? What if she's fat? Really, really fat. That would be like such a nice surprise for the audience. Like they never saw that one.